Is Renata von Tscharner, and you are watching the Charles River Conservancy Parkland show. Today we are talking about a component of the Parklands that at first glimpse doesn't sound like Parklands because it connects us to Boston, and it is a bridge. It's the Longfellow Bridge. And we have a very special guest today who will be talking to us about the work on the Longfellow Bridge. Welcome, Bob Sloane.
Thank you very much.
The Longfellow Bridge is an important part of the Parklands. First of all, it's a beautiful bridge. Secondly, it allows us to connect from the Cambridge Parklands to the Boston Parklands, the Esplanade. And it's an important part for the pedestrians. It's a great place to see the river. Actually, I recently voted for the Longfellow Bridge to be the best place to experience Massachusetts. I'm not sure how many others, but maybe you can join me in that. It's a great bridge. And as the bridges are undergoing this accelerated bridge program restoration effort, there are several bridges that are part of that program. There's the Western Avenue Bridge, the River Street Bridge, and the Anderson Bridge. And work already has started on the BU Bridge and the Craigie Bridge. So all the bridges linking Boston and Cambridge are pretty much undergoing major renovations. But let's look at the Longfellow Bridge. And our guest today, Bob Sloane, is a senior planner with WalkBoston, and you are a transportation planner by background.
That's right.
And you're working hard to make that bridge a walkable bridge, a bikeable bridge, a teeable bridge, and a beautiful bridge.
Definitely we are.
Very good. So let's look at that amazing bridge here, Bob. Tell us about your efforts to make that bridge a truly 21st century bridge.
Well, we have a big opportunity here. The bridge is going to be rebuilt. It's going to cost $350 million, which is a lot of money. One of the most expensive projects coming up in Massachusetts. We think that when it's done, it should wind up being a very good example of a 21st century approach to serving all modes of transportation, which at the moment it doesn't do very well.
No, and it's all the same agency. It's the new Mass DOT, which is a merger of the Mass Turnpike Authority, of the Highway Authority, and the T. And their mandate is also to accommodate the pedestrians and the bicyclists.
Yeah, it's all in one place now for the first time.
That's a very exciting opportunity.
We're very hopeful.
Better communication.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So the bridge that we're working on, we have several groups that are working with. We're working with Renata, with the Charles River Conservancy. We're also working with Mass Bikes, with the Livable Streets Alliance, with the Institute for Human-Centered Design, and with the Conservation Law Foundation. So we have a big group that all agree that there needs to be a different approach in redesigning this particular bridge because it's a very special bridge for all of us.
It's also a historic bridge. So the bridge is also often called the Salt and Pepper Bridge because of its wonderful salt and pepper shakers.
This picture shows what it looked like in 1907 when it was built. And it shows one of the salt and pepper shakers. It also shows the unbuilt red line. The red line wasn't in place just yet, but it gives you an idea of what the bridge was like when built. Our problem is that we think when it's rebuilt, it's going to look like this again. And we think it should be much more modern than this when it gets to be rebuilt, serving more than horses and carriages, and serving pedestrians and bicycles, and doing good stuff for the T as well.
Yeah, and so when the bridge was built, it was for carriages, and it was very high so that the boats could go underneath.
That's right.
And it is a beautiful bridge. I think
it's our best. I think. I'm prejudiced.
I think it's the best. But in terms of the looks, it should kind of use the history. But in terms of the use, we really want to make sure it's fit for people in the 21st century.
Definitely.
And you have some pictures of other bridges that could be an inspiration for the Longfellow Bridge.
Well, you look here at the Tower Bridge in London, which is probably their most famous and iconic bridge, and look how wide the sidewalk is, for starters. It's much wider than the Longfellow Bridge. The Longfellow Bridge at the moment is so narrow that people can't even pass on one side of it without walking sideways. The Brooklyn Bridge, our other big bridge for walking in New York, has long had a pedestrian way. You can see here the women and men in early century clothes, 20th century clothes, walking on a very wide sidewalk separated from the traffic on the bridge. So we've got two iconic bridges, and ours is iconic too, but it's not as good.
Yeah, I was just reading in the paper today that there is now a new pedestrian bridge over the Hudson. And they thought, oh, there's probably going to be no use for that, and who really wants to walk over the Hudson? And this has been such a success. They are approaching 1 million visitors. People come to it because it's a beautiful place to see the Hudson, and you don't have the traffic noise. And it has become a sightseeing place, and we will come to that. I think we have something similar here, and we can learn from that, as well as from the High Line in New York on the west side, which already is approaching 3 million visitors. It's just a place to get
People
out.
love bridges. We don't even know why, but they certainly do like bridges.
Yeah,
So
and wasn't it WalkBoston that helped to arrange for pedestrians allowed on the Zaken Bridge
we did.
on a Mother's Day?
1 million people showed up that day to walk on that bridge
There
before
is-
it opened to traffic.
There's something fascinating about bridges. Now, the Longfellow Bridge, I think most people cross Longfellow Bridge as part of the as red line riders.
That's right.
And
Almost
that's
100,000 people a day do that.
yeah.
So it's by far a transit bridge.
Yeah,
And
but that is also problematic because it's not really equipped for that well.
it isn't, and the problem is that the bridge does not have any safety provisions for workers or for evacuating passengers who might be stranded. So that if you look at these pictures, you can see on the left side, there's very little space between the fence and the red line car, whereas on other bridges, like the one on the right, the T has been very sure to make room for all of its workers and many of its people who have to get out of a train that might be stalled.
Yeah.
So we're going to add 2.5 feet here on both sides of the red line for that purpose.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, such a bridge undertaking, you mentioned the amount of money, both federal and state money. So that means also you're involving a lot of our elected officials. I think on the senator side it is Senator Petruccelli on the Cambridge side and Sonia Chendias on the Boston side.
Right.
And then from the House it is Representative Toomey and Representative Walz. And I know they have all been very active, and you make sure you inform them because they play a key part. So if you do see your rep, make sure you tell them how you feel about the Longfellow Bridge and appreciation for the hard work they're doing.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah. So let's look at